is going on YouTube? First off, sorry for that 15-minute delay. I had to organize some stuff. But we're here on a Sunday watching Backlash in the background, WWE's pay-per-view. We just finished off amazing fights last night. Honestly, I didn't watch the full fights, but it was an amazing card through the last 3 fights of the UFC event. And also, we got some Giants talk for you guys, and we got some NBA playoffs talk. But as always, welcome to Premium Takes. Me, Zion Zenith, is my absolutely fantastic host. We got Jeffrey, we got Mac, we got Adam in the house, and I just want to say special shout out to Jeffrey. He's feeling under the weather. So thank you for being here, Jeffrey, getting out of bed and not missing the show. And if you don't feel so good, make sure you can go rest. And your health is more important than this show's success. And I want you to know that. But thank you so much for being here. What's up, Chan? What's up, Blue City? What's up, Miz? What's up, Logan? No problem, Jeffrey. And you guys go right ahead. How's you guys doing, man? How's you guys' week been?
Just pretty chill day, man. Just went and hung out at the bar for a little bit earlier. Watched the Mets. Watched a little Mets Phillies action earlier. Now watching this Backlash. Here with my guys doing Premium Takes, man. What's going on?
Watching the GOAT Edge come out.
Let's get it.
Edge is great. Everybody, how's it going?
What's up, Nas?
Premium Takes. We're here, people. We didn't think we'd make it, but we're here. Happy Mother's Day to everybody. All you mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. Everybody that has a mom, say happy Mother's Day. Give her a call. You know, say words. Whatever you got to do, just praise them. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Good to see everybody in the chat. Hope everybody had a wonderful Sunday. Thank you for coming by the stream tonight, fellas and ladies.
Most definitely.
Absolutely. Backlash is going on right now. Anyhow, let's get right into the first topic right now. We're just going to recap the UFC fights that happened last night. We had UFC 274. We had Charles Oliveira take on Justin Gaethje in the main event. To be honest with you, fam, I didn't watch the full fights. And Jeffrey and Adam is not avid UFC watchers. I know Mac caught the last 2 fights. So let me just run through the Tony Ferguson fight real fast. And then me and Mac, maybe we can talk about the other 2. We're going to give you guys live updates throughout the stream, including Backlash. And Miami's playing the 76ers right now. So we'll give you updates on that as well. That being said, Tony Ferguson absolutely got demolished last night with a front kick that he didn't see coming. Me personally, I thought that Tony Ferguson was gonna make a comeback. He was off a 2-fight losing streak, losing to really good opponents. It might have been 3, and I thought he was gonna rebound against Michael Chandler. But Michael Chandler showed you again why he's nothing to be messed with. His power in his arms are one thing, but we just forgot. At least I did, that this guy can kick too. And when he did a front kick to Tony that put Tony's lights out, the guy was clearly knocked out for like at least 5 minutes, man. They had to wake him up. So hopefully, prayers out to Tony and his family. He'll heal from it. Hopefully, there's no bad concussion from that, because I know concussions can be brutal. But man, shout out to Michael Chandler for an excellent performance. Throwing that perfect timed front kick where Tony was so worried about Michael Chandler's power. He didn't see it coming, and he thought he slipped to the side, kind of ducked to the side, thinking that it was gonna be an overhand or something, and then that's when the knee came up and got him clean out. And Edge versus AJ, yes, is the first match. Absolutely.
No, it's not.
No, it's the third match. Oh, my bad.
Third match, yeah.
My bad. I thought you
Edge is kicking the hell out of it. He's getting his ass kicked right now by AJ. Edge is getting his ass kicked by AJ.
Who, real fast before we get into those other 2 fights,
the match ain't even start yet.
Who's the first match right now?
The first.
What are you guys watching? Because I'm not watching it right at the moment.
The first match was Cody Rhodes against Seth Rollins.
Which I don't know why you would put that match first, but
start off with a hot match. You want to start off a pay-per-view, you always want to put on a match that's going to draw attention.
No, sometimes we want to build it up. Like this match right here should be pushed down the card.
Well, when it's limited, though, yeah, it's limited. You know what I mean? To the good matches on this card, I feel like are limited, so they should.
I mean, we're not even talking about WWE, so let's save this chatter for that topic. I think they asked about UFC, so let's
Yeah, thank you, Adam. And then that being said, we had an absolutely horrible performance from the ladies. We thought it was going to be a firecracker type of fight. It ended up being
My
a
goodness.
letdown. I'm gonna hand the mic over to Mac, and I'll let him talk on it.
Man, I'm a big fan of Thug Rose, man. Huge
Absolutely, me
fan.
too.
I was looking forward to that fight last night, and it was an
Same.
absolute 5 round sleep fest, man. Like it was absolutely terrible. I don't even know. I don't even know how the judges came up with a winner because neither one of them did anything the whole damn match. It was like I don't even. I guess Esparza won the match because of the couple of takedowns
Yeah, that's what I
that
was
she
just about
got.
to
I
say.
mean, I don't know. That shit was whack. I don't. It was maybe one of the worst UFC fights I've ever seen, and one of my favorite UFC talents was involved in the fight. So it was really disappointing for me because I always look forward to the highlights that Thug Rose usually brings to the octagon, and it was no highlights last night. It was absolute 5 rounds of trash. I do not want to see these girls fight for a third time. I believe I believe that was the second time they fought. I don't want to see them fight for a third time because if it's going to be like that again, I can't take 5 more rounds of that. That I mean, they got absolutely booed out of the arena, and that's just that's unlike what you usually see when you see a Thug Rose fight, man. It's never I understand she was respecting as far as his wrestling ability. I understand that you try to respect that, but at some point you got to still get aggressive and you got to still get in there and mix it up and give these people what they paid for. And that match was for that to be the co-main event on the card, and it was by far the worst match of the night, worse than any of the preliminary matches. It was just terrible. And it was a shame. I felt bad for the fans that paid all that money to go out there. She was one of the biggest draws. Obviously, like I said, they were just a co-main event, but she was still she's a big draw, and on fans pay to go see Thug Rose fight, and last night they didn't get to see her fight. They just got to see her move around the octagon and circle around her opponent and do nothing for 5 rounds, and she lost her title for it. I don't like I said to me. I would have just if I was a judge, I'd have just scored that fight an absolute draw and said I'm not going to call either one of y'all the winner because neither one of y'all did a damn thing. I mean, and the main event, Oliveira and shit, what
Gaethje.
the hell, and Gaethje, yeah, they fought for 3 minutes and like 40 seconds. Only don't because the fight only lasted about 3 minutes 40 seconds long, and they had more action in that 3 minutes and 40 seconds than Thug Rose and the Esparza had their whole entire 5 rounds. So I don't know. I'm going to take it away, Zion, man. I got nothing more to say about that match,
Well,
man.
you said it perfectly. That was such a letdown with the Rose fight and the Corliss fight. I thought it was going to be more entertaining than that. Real fast, yeah. I haven't heard about that, but yes, the schedule does release on May 12th, and we'll all be breaking it down. So if the Eagles are scheduled to the Giants, that's going to be a fun match like ours, as we have an Eagles fan in the house in Big Play Slay. Thank you for being here. Yeah, so that Rose fight was so depressing in the sense of I'm right up there with you with my love for the Thug Rose, man. When she fights, it's a highlight reel, and she is dethroned everybody who ever held that championship. You know, she steals championships when she is the underdog. No one expects her to win. She comes out there and just wins championships, and that's what she does. Not only that, is she's the most technical and probably the best striker outside of a couple in that division. Um, and her coach, I mean, like, is one of the best coaches in the sport. So to come out like that, I don't know if it was more mental than anything, and it looked off. It was the worst performance she ever put on in that octagon, and I am surprised that we've seen that performance now. Does that hold anything to what they should do next? Absolutely not. I think she should get an immediate rematch. I wouldn't want to see that again. But that's just me being a Thug Rose fan. I want to have their belt. But she's probably not going to happen. But she needs to, her next opponent that she faces, she needs to come out and think back. I don't know if she lost the hunger, like you said, or I don't know what's going on mentally right now. But it doesn't look like she was focused. Getting into the
I mean,
Oliveira,
during the
go
hey,
ahead.
just see right quick during the commentary, they were talking a little bit like saying maybe because she's about to get married soon. She's got her wedding on her
Stress of the
mind,
wedding and all of that.
stuff like that. But at this, you got to
That
fight,
was
man. You
not
committed. You
the
got to go out there.
championship. That's not Rose, right? Like that we never seen
Well,
her.
then she should be beating the hell out of people because she's Bradzilla. You know what I'm saying? That's what she's doing.
I don't know. It was disappointing for me because
super.
that's like the match I was most anticipated. I wanted to see the most. I mean, I'm a big fan of what she does in the octagon, and it was just terrible.
Wasn't there a major upset last night with the UFC match? Like I heard there was a
the match
major
before that,
upset.
the one that Zion was talking about was a pretty big upset, I think.
Yeah, that was a pretty big
Was
one.
that Canelo or something?
Well, yeah, Canelo lost last night.
That was boxing.
In boxing.
Canelo lost.
Boxing. Okay, my fault. I'm sorry. I apologize to the UFC fans out there.
Well, oh, you're good, Jeff. Yeah, that was a pretty big upset too that Canelo lost. But keep in mind, I was talking to Lou about it. I don't know that much about boxing, but I guess Canelo had to go up like 4 weight classes. So it's maybe that. Or I didn't watch the fight, so I can't speculate on it. But yeah, I heard about that upset. And to the main event with Oliveira, Oliveira and Gaethje was an exciting fight, and I had Oliveira coming in, but I had Gaethje's with that fighter's chance because Gaethje's hands was just powerful, and if Gaethje lands, it could be lights out. But Oliveira proved it again. The 3 fighters he fought knocked him early, and he was able to recover.
For the record, Gaethje did. He got some good shots in early, yes, like in the first minute or so of the fight. But then Oliveira just turned it on, man, and finished him. I mean,
absolutely. And we've seen now Oliveira finish 3 high-level opponents with his last 3 fights: Michael Chandler, Dustin Poirier, and now outstanding talent in Justin Gaethje, only losing to Khabib. So now that we have a champion with Oliveira that did weigh in half a pound less than the original weight, loses his championship, but is the number 1 contender. Who do you put him against? In my mind, this is me kind of, fans may say I'm biased in a way, but once Max Holloway takes back his kingdom at the featherweight division, and I would want him to move up and challenge Oliveira because he's the last guy to ever beat Oliveira, and nothing to take away from Oliveira. Oliveira did I don't know if he dislocated or if he broke or something happened with his shoulder. It popped out or something. He couldn't continue the fight. So Max Holloway won by default, and I truly believe that was the last opponent Oliveira had lost to, and he's on an 11-fight win streak. Max Holloway, it's kind of too big now. He can make it down to 145. People say he doesn't have the power to go back up and to move back up to 155, but I just think that Dustin Poirier, the Diamond, is one of the best in the world, and to lose against someone like Dustin Poirier shouldn't judge his ability to go back up there. I think if he takes a couple of time and a couple of months to get his body right, to put on the extra pounds, I could see him moving up to 155 and challenging Oliveira, because I truly believe unless Islam comes up and challenges Oliveira, but still then I still think Oliveira beats Islam. So that being said, Oliveira has no opponents at the moment. What do you feel about that?
I mean, I'm not like so deep. I don't know about all the guys or who the ranked guys are necessarily. I just kind of watch when they have the UFC,
the big time pay-per-view
events. Yeah, I'm not like.
Hell yeah, we're gonna get into that, guys, and we're actually moving to that. Sorry to interrupt, Jeff. I'm back. Not to interrupt, but we're actually moving to that topic right now. We wanted to talk about that a little bit tonight. We got what's up, Namir. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, they are.
We got winning some games. I'm not a baseball fan, so I'm gonna turn this end of the podcast over to our host Jeff and our host Matt. I'll let them hold it down. Being that they're Mets fans, I'll let you guys go. Let's get it.
What can you say about the New York Mets? Arguably the biggest surprise and the best team in the major leagues right now. After what they did on Thursday, especially being down 7-1 going into the top of the 9th inning, most people, including a lot of Met fans, decided, you know what, this game is over. We're going to shut the TV off. And what did the Mets do? They just pulled off an incredible 7-run rally. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Oh, man.
Condolences, bro. Condolences to your family, man. You and your
Sorry
family,
about
bro.
that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Jeff, but that was pretty
No,
heavy.
no, it's okay.
Sorry,
Condolences to you,
for
Blue
me,
City. I send my thoughts and prayers to your family,
Absolutely.
man. But yeah, I mean, the Mets were down 7-1 going into the top of the ninth inning. A lot of fans shut off the TV thinking that this was it, and they were able to pull off an incredible 7-run rally, topped off by Brandon Nimmo 2-run single to tie it, and then Starling Marte double to take the lead. And then Edwin Diaz locks it down on the bottom of the ninth to give the Mets an incredible 8-7 victory on Thursday. And they just got off the doubleheader today where they had a little bit of a struggle against the Phillies in the first game. Max Scherzer wasn't completely on his game. So they did fall, unfortunately, to the Phillies in game 1, 3-2. But the Mets bats, including Pete Alonso, who had 2 home runs, 5 RBIs in the nightcap, the Mets were able to pull off an impressive 6-1 victory behind the right arm of Chris Bassett. So, yeah, the Mets have been playing great. I believe they're off to a 20-10 start. So, I mean, the Mets they've been sort of the comeback kids, the team that just is coming out of nowhere, coming together, not really a power hitting team, but getting it done with pitching, small ball, fierceness, good defense. Just playing the way that sort of that 86 team used to play, where it's a lot of grittiness out there, led by their gritty manager, old school style manager, Buck Showalter. So, I mean, the Mets are just pitching. They're pitching well. They're hitting pretty well. The Mets are just doing everything that you need to do as a baseball team to succeed. So, as a Met fan, I'm sure Mac feels the same way. We can't be any more happy. But as far as like this team, it's great that they're doing great right now.
Sorry, I just wanted to say, I don't know if I was muted or not, but like Blue City, man, like thoughts and prayers out to your family, and I'm not trying to go back to that, but like for real, man. I'm just like let's just get a moment of silence real fast, and just for real, man. Like this is Mother's Day, and no mother should go through that on Mother's Day, and like for the facts that you're here and we're here to take your mind off of it. So we're gonna continue, but just sorry, bro. All right, let's get back to sports and let's help this guy get through that. You know what I'm saying? You can go right ahead, Jeff. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay. I mean, Mac, you can go ahead. I was just finishing up my point, so it's all right.
Yeah, like you said, the Mets are like clicking on all cylinders right now, man.
Great stuff here, guys.
Couldn't be more proud of this baseball team right now, man. They finding
Absolutely.
games that they're winning this season are games that I'll watch this team absolutely not have a chance. And like you said, Thursday night, getting to the top of the ninth, down 7-1, and rally in the top of the ninth, from 6 runs down the top of the ninth. And I mean, the last couple of runs came with 2 outs, with them sitting there on 2 outs, man, like down to literally their last at bat. So this team is just resilient, man. Starting pitching overall has been pretty great. Yeah, starting pitching has been pretty great overall. You know what I mean? So not a lot to complain about. Like the Buck Showalter, man, he's the real MVP right now of this team, man.
Who the hell is
He's
that?
holding this team together, man, putting out great lineups night in and night out. And the Mets, they're just clicking, man. Like I said, they don't have the best record in baseball technically, but I think right now, I'm not trying to be biased. I think they truly are. Maybe in this first little short period part of the early part of the season, they may be truly the best team in baseball, even though their record doesn't necessarily say that quite. There's a couple teams technically a little bit of a better.
Let's go Yankees, says Blue City.
Few percentage points ahead of them for, one reason or another. But the Mets are definitely balling, man. And Yankees are too, and that's always a good thing when both New York teams is getting it done in the majors, man. Do we get another Subway Series come September? I mean, it's a little early right now to start talking like that, but we'll find out, man. This team
By
is
the way,
balling, man.
Quick update: Edge just defeated AJ Styles, and a mystery person just cost AJ the match. So
it looks like a very, very slender build, i.e., female.
Tommaso. Okay, I think it's Tommaso.
It's Rhea Ripley.
Oh, is it Rhea?
Metal Ballin says, man,
it's Rhea Ripley.
Quick update,
Yes.
too, as well. Miami Heat is losing 56-64 halftime for the
Wow.
NBA game. Is it realistic?
Yes.
Did you join the cause?
I don't know.
I
Yes.
hate to bring back Edge original theme song, says Kayla.
Well,
Yes,
his
it
original
is.
theme-
Rhea
His original
Ripley
theme
is
song
part
doesn't
of the
really go with the
Judgment Day.
character, though, Caleb.
Wow.
This is awesome.
His original theme song doesn't fit the character that he is now, so he's got to like kind of have this more
Look at
ominous
Edge's
music.
That's
psychotic
also,
laugh.
that's also looking really bad. Let's go 76ers.
Oh, yeah, that's
No,
absolutely good.
it's Miami
I
Nation,
can look
buddy.
at her and tell before.
But yeah, they haven't been playing way better basketball now that they have their center back, and I expected that. So Miami needs to get it together because last game he took a lot of sloppy shots. I need to put this game on to see what's going on with that. But yeah, let's get it. You guys finished up on the Mets?
I mean, I don't really got much more to say about the Mets. They right now it's still early and see a lot of baseball left to be played. But the fact that they're getting all this done right now without their ace in the lineup, hats off to this team, man.
Absolutely. Oh,
That was
Eddie,
awesome.
let's move into our next topic. We'll just cover the NBA playoffs. I know Adam wanted to talk about this for a bit. I love the NBA playoffs. I haven't been watching all the games because I've been at work, but I've been catching up with the highlights and seeing what I can. So let's talk about that Boston versus Milwaukee game yesterday, if you want to, Adam, or if you want to talk about that Memphis Golden State game. We also had that Phoenix versus Dallas game. So whatever game you choose to begin with, the mic is yours. I don't think Adam is here, guys. That being said,
Well, I mean,
go right ahead, Jeff.
I was gonna say we can talk about in general. Like, look, the Sixers. Talk about the Sixers a little bit. That game, Sixers Miami playing right now in Game 4.
Sure.
Right now, Sixers are hanging on to a 8-point lead right now at halftime. But just how the impact of Joel Embiid getting back into this series, in
Big
Game
major
3,
impact.
What he meant to that Sixers team, coming out there, being out there for his team. Take some notes, Ben Simmons. Take some notes.
Don't get me started.
Shots fired.
Don't get started.
I mean, it's just. This series it could have easily spiraled out of control for the Sixers on Thursday night if they
Hold up, Mac. I'm sorry to do this to you, Joel. I know you're joking here, but breaking news. I DM'd him on Twitter, and we've been in communication. Last time I checked, it's not Monday yet. Monday's tomorrow. So when it's Monday, I'm gonna send him that email. Thank you for being here, buddy. I love you, Joe. Let's get it. Continue.
I knew that was gonna come up
Tell him he can
eventually.
get his intro in the email tomorrow. He can expect that. All right. Sorry to interrupt, Mac.
No, I was just hell, I'm talking about the Sixers. Oh yeah, just the impact that has when you get one of your big guys come out there, even though he's not 100%. There's no way he has to obviously wear the mask for the orbital bones, so he's not 100%, but he's gonna still get out there with his guys, and they got the job done, and they got back into the series. If they can hang on and win this game, this is gonna be a series again. You know what I mean? So you got the other guy, you got Dallas and Phoenix out there balling earlier today. Dallas even that series up. They defended their home court as well. So you got some good semifinals. Conference semifinals series is going on here. Milwaukee and Boston is going to be. It looks like it's going to be a good one. It could go the distance. We'll find out, man. And then Golden State and New Orleans. I mean, Golden State and Memphis, man. I mean, the impact of Ja Morant's injury. I'm not sure how bad it is. If he's going to miss any time, if he's going to miss a game or not. That's going to be big because he is Memphis. Ja Morant is Memphis.
I think he's going to miss at least one game, if anything.
He's literally carrying that team on his back. It. He's the guy. That without him, that team don't go. That team has no chance of even being competitive with the Golden State Warriors if Ja Morant's not in the lineup. So.
There's also been a lot of rumors that injury that happened was caused by what Jordan Poole did. That he was surprised that there maybe wasn't like a fine or suspension on how Ja Morant actually got hurt because he was really pissed off about that after the injury. So that might have a lot to do with it too. Is if Jordan Poole did it intentionally in a way when he got hurt on that one
Of course, he
foul.
released a
So
statement saying it was absolutely just an accident. He wouldn't. I mean,
Yeah.
Jordan Poole doesn't
Missed.
strike me as the kind of player that would do something like that. I mean, intentionally to be dirty.
I was gonna ask them the question, but Miz answered Namir, so right there. Sorry to interrupt. That's 20 and 10.
And I mean, as far as Philadelphia, I mean, it's the whole series is circled around Joel Embiid. If Joel Embiid is healthy, he does make a difference in that series because that guy is the difference maker. If he's not there, Miami is clearly the better team. It's not even a question at all. But if Joel Embiid does play, you could see the impact that he puts on this team, and it also trickles down to the rest of that roster where Harden doesn't have to be the number one guy. He could just be that shooter on the outside. It helps out Maxey. It helps out Tobias Harris. So Joel Embiid's presence just out there is such a big difference for that team. And I mean, in terms of Dallas and Phoenix, I think a lot of people are just underestimating how good this Dallas team actually is. Because I mean, they're holding their own against a really tough Phoenix team that they got pretty much their whole team back, and Dallas is holding their own. Also, you got to respect Luka Doncic and the type of player he is, and Dinwiddie's playing well. So Dorian Finney-Smith is off to a great start. So I mean, give a lot of respect to that Dallas Maverick team. They're holding their own against the proverbial favorite in the NBA. So, I mean, good job by them tying the series 2-2, and got to see how the rest of that goes. And, I mean, in terms of Milwaukee and Boston, I mean, Milwaukee's getting it done even without their second best player on the team. And I think Boston, they've struggled a little bit. But, I mean, I still think in the end, if with the Middleton loss, I think Boston's is eventually going to get it together, and they'll be able to pull it off in like a very tight 6 or 7 game series. So, I mean, it's been very exciting. I mean, obviously, Adam and I are still probably pissed off about how the Nets went out, but I mean, at least the NBA second round has been very enticing, especially in some of the series that have been going on so far.
Well, I'm just mad that the Nets can't hold serve like some of these teams are at home. Right, that's what the NBA playoffs is about. Now, I'm watching the Suns Maverick game, and I'm looking at the Suns, and I'm asking myself one question: why are you waiting to win your games at home? Right, you need to win one road game if you're a favorite team. One road game.
Well, I don't think they're waiting at them. They're trying to win the games.
No. Hear me out, please. Hear me out. My point is this, right? Every time you have a series with a team that's favored, they never win road games because they're comfortable at home. And in order to win championships, you have to win road games, right? So for me, even though Phoenix beat Dallas, I don't think the Dallas Mavericks are going to beat Phoenix at home. So if Phoenix decides, this is excuse me.
Sorry, Adam. I was just saying hi to the Vance. Continue. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Thank you. Phoenix and Dallas, I just think Phoenix is the better team overall because they're not necessarily playing to lose in Dallas, but they know that they have home court, right? And they'll play better in their stadium. They always have in their arena. And it seems to me like if I'm Dallas, I got to steal one of these next games, away games to win, right? Because think about it, if Dallas wins all their games, they have 3 wins. So they need to win a road game. So it's great that they won at home, but go steal one on the road, and then we can say that this team is going to compete with Phoenix. Right now, it's what I expect in a semifinals matchup. As for Philadelphia, I say the same thing. I think Miami is playing better at home. I think Jimmy Butler is a superstar. I think Eric Spoelstra is an underrated coach. I think that guy doesn't get enough credit. I know Zion and I were talking about him, I don't know if it was today or a few days ago, where this guy doesn't get enough credit for having a team, not only having a good team, but bringing the team to the number 1 seed. So, Philadelphia's Philadelphia. I'm not really worried. I don't think they're going to beat Miami. I think, you won at home. Great. Let's see you win on the road. That's when the real games start. So for me, I'm enjoying the playoffs. I'm more mad because the Nets went out in such a wimpy manner. right? They didn't win one game. You know, I mean, at least Atlanta won a game. You know, these teams, it's like, when are we going to win? When are we going to win? Look at who was it? The Grizzlies? It wasn't the Grizzlies. Who has that Marat kid again? I forgot. I'm forgetting. Grizzlies, right? That kid is doing everything for that team to win. We have 2 superstars on our team, and we can't even win one game. Terrible.
Miz, it's Joel Embiid, not Ben Harden. It's not James Harden. It's Joel Embiid.
Don't forget Ben Simmons.
The best bench warmer in the NBA. Actually, the most stylist bench warmer in the NBA. He apparently, sitting on the bench, you got a lot of time to go shopping. He's probably clicking through Amazon in his Macy's catalog while he's pretending to be injured.
You know what? If that dude ever plays a game for the Nets, I think it'd be a relief. It'd be amazing. I have no expectations for Ben Simmons going into next year. I don't believe he's going to do anything until he's actually showing up on the court.
But why make the move? Why make the move?
He said, it doesn't make sense.
Why make the move? Okay, because right now you look like a complete
Somebody sounds like a bitter Knicks fan. A bitter Knicks fan, not a bitter Nets fan. See, I gotta go walk on this.
Hold on. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. People who use the championship argument it's a losing argument, because you have championships that are collecting dust in your play. It's like when someone says, "Oh yeah, the Giants got 4 rings." Great. What have they done for you lately? What have the Knicks done for you lately besides be a dumpster fire?
Yeah, okay? Exactly. The Knicks have done nothing in over 20 years. And you know what?
In the trash.
Real Nets fans don't give a damn. The real Nets fans don't give a freaking damn about the New York Knicks. We don't. We don't care. Why do you guys care so much about us? We're the team that nobody gives a shit about. I apologize for cursing. Nobody cares about us. No. We're just the little kids on the side that came from New Jersey, that moved over to Brooklyn, and so we got a couple of star players, and we're failing. But the real Nets fans are used to stuff. Why do Knicks fans give a damn about the Nets? I don't.
No, the Knicks.
I don't care.
The Knicks are like a dirty ride at Disneyland. Like the Small World ride, right? It's there. You see it. It's oiled up. It's only there for nostalgia purposes because they can't buy themselves a win. But because people like the New York Knicks, we'll keep them around for you. We'll still keep you as a tourist attraction. I'd rather watch the Harlem Globetrotters than the freaking New York Knicks. I mean, the Harlem Globetrotters play nobodies, okay? The New York Knicks have no leg to stand on. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care about your championships that are collecting dust. Okay, when's the last time they won a championship? 1975? Give me a break. Give me a break, Miz. You do this with every one of your championship teams. Oh, I'm a Yankee fan. Great job. The New York Yankees, they 2009 championship. Give me a break, okay? Give me a break. I'm tired of this crap. Come up with a new argument. Come up with one with actual facts. Facts are the Knicks haven't done shit, just like the Giants.
And you know what? The funniest part? And you want to go to the Yankees part? Guess who was the last team in New York that was in the World Series? Not the New York Yankees, the New York Mets. Guess who was the last team in NBA in this area that was in the NBA Finals? Not the New York Knicks, the New Jersey/Brooklyn Nets.
It's like, yeah, man, we're the New York Knicks. We got those championships that have been collecting dust. What have you got? We went to the playoffs. Oh, man, but we still got these dusty rings that we never wear. Right? That's what those championships are. That's like going to your grandma's house, your grandpa's house, and going upstairs in the attic and saying, "Hey, Dad, you want a trophy for bowling? Great job. Oh, you were what? You were Little League World Series MVP." That's how the New York Knicks are to me right now. Okay, you got trophies in your attic that are collecting dust. Okay, go to your grandma's house, your grandpa's house, and go open up those boxes and reminisce with them. Because guess what? The Nets are still in the playoffs. All right. I understand.
And also at the same time, you can have your shiny, nice stadium where all the tourists want to go visit. You guys can have the city. You can have all the fans. You can make fun of us all we want. We don't care because we're looking to win championships. We are championship or bust right now. We don't care about what the Knicks are doing in terms of winning the city, in terms of winning the fans. I don't care. I want to win a championship. That's all I care about. I don't care what the Knicks do.
It's funny
Stop worrying about what the Nets do.
that he's calling us frauds, but won't acknowledge that his team stinks. See, that to me is just a pot stir. See, you have no factual evidence coming at me at the chat.
I've been a fan of the Nets since 1993. How can I be a fraud? I've been a fan of this dysfunctional franchise since 1993. Don't call me a fraud. I've watched the dark times with this team. Don't even dare go in that way.
Here goes some reality, fellas. Some reality, man. No matter what, even as bad as the Knicks are and have been, it's nobody's. The New York Knicks are going. When people think about NBA basketball in New York, it's always going to be the Knicks first, regardless. That's just the way. That's just the way it goes. Even though Brooklyn is clearly a better team. It's same with the Nets, with the Mets and the Yankees. It's always going to be the Yankees. Giants, Jets is going to be the Giants. I mean, that's just the way. That's the way it goes. That's just the pecking order in New York sports. Rangers over Islanders. It's just the pecking order in New York sports.
You don't have to apologize.
They got two teams. New York City got two teams in every major sport, and there's one that's definitely above the other. Is in the pecking order in all four of those sports, and that's the way it goes. The Giants, Rangers, Yankees, and the Knicks. That's just the way it's gonna always be. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know why you my homie and everything, but you are really, really.
See, that's what he's doing. He's a monster. That's what I'm saying. I'm not arguing.
They're pretty garbage, bro. Pretty trash.
I'm not arguing about what he's saying in terms of the Nets and championships. I'm arguing with the pot stir, because if you're gonna come in here and stir the pot, at least cook me something that's good. Okay, don't be stirring around shit. Right, that's what you're doing. You're being a shit stirrer.
Can I just make a point real quick?
Yeah, but I want to be fast. I just want to say you don't have to apologize, Jeff. I'm just concerned because you're sick, and I don't want you to
you know what? I'm fired up now. Okay. I am fired up because I saw the word fraud. Nets fan. There is no damn fraudness with what what Adam and I have rooted for with this team, because we go way back with this franchise. I have been sitting at the Brendan Byrne Continental Airlines Izod Center, wherever the hell you want to call that arena, since I was in my 5, 6, 7 years old. I've been going to that arena. I saw Derek Coleman. I saw Kenny Anderson. I saw Kendall Gill, Armin Gilliam. I saw that incredible Nets team that gave probably the best highlight I've ever had in my life. The 2 years we went to the NBA Finals, they screwed that up. Then I got to see Devin Harris come here. The overrated as hell Darren Williams. I had to watch that disaster of a team in 2013 where we traded every single player that was over the hill. It was friggin' absolutely killed us because of Billy King. And then also had to deal with the bullshit that we're going on with right now, with how they traded for these two superstars where every other team cannot bring up a super team together. But no, the Nets can't win a championship. Every other super team can do it. Not the Nets. We failed again. We screwed up again, just like always. Don't you dare call me a fraud Nets fan when I have lived and died with this team for years, as much as I've lived and died with the New York Mets and the New York Giants. Let me just finish my point real quickly. And at the same time, I know it's a Knicks town, it's a Yankees town, it's a Giants town. I don't care about hockey, but it's a Rangers town. I don't care. I only care about winning championships, winning games. I don't give a crap if there's 1,000, millions of more Yankees fans than Mets fans. I want championships with the Mets. I don't care if there's billion more Knicks fans than Nets fans. I want to win championships. That's what it's all about. Not about winning the city, having a beautiful, better arena. It's about winning championships. And right now, I hate to say it, the Brooklyn Nets are in a hell of a better position right now than the New York Knicks have been in 22 years. So don't even go there right now about the New York Knicks being anywhere in the atmosphere of the Brooklyn Nets. Because you know what? As much as the Brooklyn Nets sucked this whole entire postseason and have been a disaster this past few years, the Brooklyn Nets on their worst day is still 20 times better than the New York Knicks will ever be right now. And I'm just saying that as a passionate Nets fan. That's all I got to say. Take it away.
We can feel your passion there, but let me just say this.
A lot better than the Knicks. I will definitely agree with you there.
Let me say this. Okay, I don't give a damn about, the Nets, frauds, whatever. I'm talking about this mantra when people get into arguments about sports and they bring up the past about, we had a championship. I'm still counting. I'm still counting, Miz. I'm still counting our next championship. I'm a Giant fan. I'm still counting. Still waiting. Meanwhile, Kansas City's got one. Tampa Bay's got one. LA's got one. You know what I'm saying? I can go down the list since we've been there. Okay? So we sit here, we say, yeah, we got 4 trophies in the case. Or we got 2 trophies in the case. I'm in the island of relevancy. Thank you, Roman Reigns. I'm on the island of relevancy. And I want a relevant team. I don't want a team that I have to talk about in the past. Like I told you, that you have to reminisce about. They have to sit on your front porch with your cigar. I'm like, hey, remember those days? Because that's where we are right now. And that's where the Knicks are right now as a franchise. You're reminiscing. You think you're happy. Oh, great, we're happy. Good job. Okay, great. Who cares? I don't.
What have you done for me back with the Knicks, man? I don't know. Knicks have not won a title in my lifetime, and I'm about to be 45 in July. So
you know who's a relevant team?
I don't even know.
Heat Nation. Heat Nation. That's a relevant team.
He's got more rings than the Nets. I mean, than the Knicks.
Yeah. The Knicks and Nets, both of them.
You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. These arguments to me just get annoying because it's like if you're gonna talk sports. Give me the facts. Don't be like, well, yeah, we got 4 championships. Yeah, in 1975. Who gives a shit? Who cares?
I know we failed. I know the Nets have.
Joel, you should know you were alive for the game.
We haven't done anything. In our organization,
he's just trying to stir the pot. You don't need to defend your team. Me out the outside.
No, it's fine.
Outside looking in, fuck the Knicks, bro. On the outside looking in,
no, Knicks can. But Knicks could laugh because there are some of those.
90s.
And I'll say this.
I give them the 90s. I give the Knicks the 90s.
Zion, I'll say this real quick.
This is awesome.
I'll say this real quick. There are some of those Nets fans. There are some of those fraud Nets fans out there that Miz is talking about that have stirred the pot and have gone pissed off Knicks fans. Pissed off Laker fans, the fake Nets fans, the Nets fans that aren't actually diehards that have lived with this team and rooted for this team since the New Jersey fans. That I'll agree with. But there are some of those Nets fans that know this organization very well, that we know very well that this team has caused a lot more harm and a lot more pain to their fan base than joy. The real Nets fans know that, like Adam and myself and Hit Squad that have lived and died with this team for many, many years. And there's been a lot of lows, including the worst record in NBA history. The New Jersey Nets have the credit for that one. We have a lot of lows than highs. But at the same time, I just don't ever say fraud. Because I know you weren't directing that possibly at me, Miz, but at the same time, don't call Nets fans fraud fans. Because the real Nets fans, we know where it's at. We know the struggles that this organization has given us.
It's facts, man. Miz, be nice.
I apologize. I'm
you
just.
don't have to apologize.
Miz, Jeff is sick today, Miz. How dare you? How dare you attack a sick man?
Actually, that woke me up. I like it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Miz probably got.
Because I love this freaking team. Besides the Giants, the Nets are my most passionate team that I love. I mean, I'm as passionate about the Nets as I am about the Giants. I go crazy with this team. They drive me more freaking nuts lately than the Giants because the Giants have sucked for 10 years, so there's really nothing to get excited about. The Nets have at least given me some hope the past couple of years, so that's why it pisses me off even more when they go into the playoffs with expectations and they blow it.
You just said something that's relevant, or on this show, premium. You said something that's relevant, or on this show, premium take, and that is they haven't been relevant. The Giants haven't been relevant for 10 years. Neither have the Knicks. So if you want to talk about history and you want to go down and have this basketball conversation and point out facts, don't just stir a pot. Like I said, don't just stir a pot that just has water in it, because right now you're burning nothing. I'm tired of wasting breath on stupid shit.
20 years. I hope they get good. I would love the Knicks to get good. The NBA is better when the Knicks are good. I'm being serious. The Knicks get better. It's best for the NBA when the New York teams are good. When the NFL is better, when the Giants and the Jets are good. When New York has good teams, it helps that league. And the Knicks being bad for this long has hurt the NBA.
I'm comparing
they need the Knicks to be a good organization again. That's all I'm saying. I hope the Knicks are good, and I hope the Nets are good, because it would be fun to actually have legit back and forth with each of the fan bases. But right now, the Knicks aren't relevant. The Nets are a much better team than the Knicks. And I hope the Knicks can get better because it would be fun. But right now, I understand. Make fun of the Nets all we want. We deserve it because we make fun of our team as much as possible because they deserve it. But the Knicks fans, you have no leg to stand on. I'm sorry. You really don't. You guys haven't been good for over 20 years. You really don't. And I understand, like, we haven't done jack. We haven't won a championship or anything, but you guys have been bad for over 20 years. So, I mean, if it makes you feel good as Knicks fans is the fact that the Nets suck and they blew it when they were supposed to be a championship team, good for you guys. But you guys, it doesn't help out how you guys are, and you guys have not been a good team for over 20 years, and that's embarrassing.
The Knicks. Miz, they're a flagship franchise in the NBA. Don't try to be like to debunk this. This is what you do. It's where I'm comparing losing to losing. Both teams have been crappy. Both teams are marquee franchises. Both teams play in New York. Like Max said, when you think basketball in New York, you're thinking Knicks first. When you think football in New York, you're thinking Giants first. So if you're on that same level, that's what I'm talking about. I don't care how they run as an organization. Not in the same world. You're wrong. Yeah, okay.
Hey,
Next
here's
question.
Macca, Jeff, you guys want to answer Big Blue City's question?
What does he say?
Let's talk about the New Jersey Devils, man. Sometimes I just want to cry when the New Jersey Devils break my heart. Don't get me started with the Yankees and the 2019 playoffs, or in the 2019 playoffs.
I don't know anything about the New Jersey Devils.
I used to be a hardcore hockey fan when I was younger, so I got to watch the New Jersey Devils in their prime years of when Martin Brodeur was around, the most dominant goalie arguably in hockey history. I got to see that incredible defense with Scott Stevens and Scott Niedermayer and Ken Danico. This is when I was a big hockey fan. I fell out of love with hockey later on, but I was when the Devils were in their prime years. I was there to see them obviously lose the championship to the Rangers in '94 when they lost that series in 7. But then they were able to bounce back, win the Cup in 1995. They came back in 2000, they won the Stanley Cup then. 2013, 2003, they won the Stanley Cup again. So I was a really big Devils fan at the time. But as over the years, like my love for hockey sort of dwindled away. And like the last time, like I really was into hockey as much as when the Devils were once again a somewhat relevant team when they were in the Stanley Cup again against the Tampa Bay Lightning, I think in 2012 or 13, I forget. But like, yeah, the Devils, they had a great run during like the mid to late 90s and into like the early to mid 2000s. That was like the Devils' prime year, but they've been a rebuilding franchise ever since. The Rangers, I don't watch hockey that much, but I'll give credit to the Rangers. They've done a hell of a job building that team up to be not only a great playoff team, but a perennial Stanley Cup team, the way they've done it. And they've actually, if you want to look at the model team right now in New York City, don't look any further than the New York Rangers. The Rangers have done it right, and they've been a good team for years. That's the model franchise in New York City that you want to look at. And it's kind of funny that James Dolan is the owner of the shittiest franchise in New York right now, the Knicks, and the best franchise right now in New York in the Rangers. So it's like kind of a parallel right there. So, I mean, I that's just my overview with the Devils. I mean, they're just going through some rough times. They're trying to rebuild. They've been doing it for years, trying to get up a bunch of young talent and try to put a team back together. But, I mean, I'm sure eventually they'll turn the corner. But, I mean, it takes a while in hockey. You just sometimes have to hit the right players. It's all dependent, like every other sport, but especially in hockey.
I know this is a non sequitur. What that means is a different way of going places. But should we touch on the conducting?
Adam has the definition. I love it. Thank you, Adam.
Yeah, I got a bit of a vocabulary over here. Not too much. Public school helped me out. Should we talk about the Kentucky Derby and the crazy win that happened?
That's one of the biggest upsets ever in sports, man.
I thought Mac might have something to say, so I had to stir the pot like Miz, except this time I'm going about the Kentucky Derby and not some bogus ass Nick talk.
If you bet on that horse yesterday, man, you cleaned up at the Kentucky Derby yesterday. Let me tell you.
80 to 1 odds. 80 to 1 odds.
I wish I used to work at a horse tracking casino, man. I wish I was still there because I always got a little action in on it.
You would put a little shekels on that guy, Mike?
Oh, I mean, I probably wouldn't have bet on that particular horse. I probably wouldn't have been that lucky to be thinking to go ahead and bet on an 80 to 1 horse against 80 to 1 odds against them. But That was amazing, man. That horse, and now, I mean, it's going to probably go next month to the Preakness as the favorite now. And everybody's going to want to see the horse continue to win because
Well, yeah, it's
you
Triple
want to see
Crown.
Triple Crown winners. You know what I mean? So that
So
was
I
just
mean,
that. You're not going to see a much bigger upset than that in sports, man. I mean, that was just huge. That horse, I think it was had the lowest
Charlotte
odds to
Flair
win.
quit.
If I'm not mistaken, the 80-1 was the lowest odds for any horse in the field
Um,
in that field to
I
win.
think you're right. I think it's well, at least 80-1 odds amongst all
That's
20
a
horses.
stupid race.
At least this race.
Hey, what's
He'll
up,
he'll be
Raphael?
the favorite now going into the Preakness for sure. So
Wow.
it's just
Thank God Charlotte
you
dropped the
won't be able to
belt.
get that action again, folks.
I'm just letting you know that was historic. I had to bring it up. If this is a premium take show, we have to touch on things that are a premium take, and that
Oh
was one.
snap!
That horse will
She
not.
won with the arm boy with the steel chair. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's all good.
Ronda Rousey.
That
I
horse
don't
We
know,
all knew that
man.
was gonna happen, though, right?
will not be 80.
I actually heard,
in the Preakness.
I actually heard, Mac, that he might not even they might not even run him because it was such an odd favorite.
Well, why would
Not
you
having
run him
favorite,
now?
a
I
huge
mean,
upset because they don't know if they're gonna run him. I mean, I was just talking with my cousin a little bit earlier, and they're not even sure that he's gonna run in
Yeah,
the
right.
Preakness at all.
are you
I mean, he
kidding
should.
me?
I mean, it makes sense.
The only
It
way
makes
they can
sense
see
that he
him-
does.
The only way I can see the horse not running is if the horse has something happen and got injured.
This guy is going on a
Possible.
meteoric rise. You just
Probably
went.
at the same
You
time.
won a ton of money for somebody, some random schmuck that probably put 80-1 odds down. I was like, you know what? Let me put a couple $100 down, right? Who knows, right? And all of a
Whoever the horse's
sudden,
owner is, I'm sure the horse's
Do
owner.
you think
bet
there's
on it.
a possibility that lightning's gonna strike twice?
no, I don't. But you can't just tell me that you're not going to run your horse in the Preakness because you're not. I mean, after this win, you got to try. No one's going to fault you if you lose because Triple Crown. But
Is there like a? I don't
You
wanna
gotta
say
go once you win
stupid, but
once you
like-
win the Derby. You gotta go for it, man.
exactly.
Unless
No,
you
I
just
agree.
unless
I
you
mean-
physically can't. Unless the horse physically can't.
No,
run.
I
So
agree with
can I-
that. He should be able to run.
And you know how
I
much
mean,
money is going to be on him now? There's going
Oh, a
to be
ton.
money flooding in. There's that pressure alone is going to have them run that horse. They're going to be like, listen,
Real
you know.
fast, you guys can take me to school real fast. Educate me. So we have a horse that's 1 in 80 odds. Okay, now how does a horse get to 1 in 80 odds? Is it involved with like money? So maybe some teams have more money to invest.
Well,
in
he was
the
a
horse?
late entry.
How does it come down to that?
I think it was
this is-
80-1 odds because of he came in last minute. So obviously last minute, you're not going to think a horse is going to win like that. So that's probably why his is so low. I don't know if going into the race, and Mac, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know if going into the race if he would have been that low regardless. But I think he was that low because he came in last minute and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, there it goes.
I mean, it's like anything else too, man. These horses, trust me, when I tell you this, Kentucky Derby is never any of these horses' first race. You know what I mean? So it's what you put out there on tape, man. What they think about you. So you get ranked like anybody else. What they like power rankings. What they think about you. And that horse, they thought that little that was gonna, had no chance, and he shocked the world.
Sorry,
And, I mean, he shocked.
it's
and
almost
that
like
horse-
California Chrome a couple years ago.
yeah.
Interesting.
I mean,
I just
the
like,
bank,
is it like
Saturdays,
Formula
watch that.
One where like, at Formula One, like some super teams got so much money to invest in their vehicles and stuff, whereas in some other teams or maybe just a startup. Is it like that with horses? It's like, okay, we have a full blown like 100 acres for this horse, and then other horses is all like, yeah, we can't do that much. We have to get a basic trainer, we have to get a basic rider, whatever you call them. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it does depend on
It
that.
might
Is
have
there,
been
basically, is there a salary cap in
The
in
jockeys
horse
matter
racing?
too. It depends on that. Sometimes
Jockeys,
it
that's
depends
what
on
you call them.
the jockeys matter too. Like sometimes some jockeys are just flat out better than others, so that also matters too.
Okay.
Like the jockeys riding, which jockeys on which horses, that also plays into
Okay.
to the odds too. You know what I mean? Because like I said, some jockeys are just flat out better.
It might also have to do with a lot of maybe these horses run some previous races, so it might depend on like how they rank and also how they do in some of those other like smaller races. So that's maybe how they rank them in terms of like, which horse goes where, which horse is like better betting favorite. So it could have a lot to do with that as well. But yeah, I mean, I really don't know a whole lot of horse racing, but that's just like my biggest guess that it could have to what you guys were discussing before, could also have to do with like the rankings of how these horses do in the smaller races, and maybe that's how they get the betting
Absolutely.
odds.
Like I said, the Derby is never any of these horses' first race. That's not a thing. So they've had other races before they.
I'm not saying it was his first race. I'm just saying he was the last minute entrant into the race.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that, but that's what I mean.
That is true.
There's other film on this horse running, and maybe this horse ain't really been very successful any other time before. And for some reason on Saturday decided to show his ass at the Kentucky Derby and pull away from the field and win that race and bring it home for whoever bet money on it.
I wouldn't want to be in the WWE, but I want to be a writer for the WWE because I could write good storylines. I think I do something.
They could use you.
I should have loved to have been in the WWE, man. They would have called me the Carl McClutch show. I would have been like badass.
I love it.
Oh man, I'm just messing with you.
I love it. We got a little bit of Kentucky Derby, a little bit of hockey. I love it. We are a sports podcast, and now we're gonna switch it up because we're gonna preview what it is to have like we're thinking about having 2 shows a week, gang. And some of you don't know about it. Some of you this is the first time you're hearing it, but we're gonna try to feed in a pop show coming up. But I know the football season's kicking off soon, and we're gonna have a lot of sports stuff to talk about there. But I wanted to get off of sports for a bit, and I wanted to talk about the Dave Chappelle incident. Did anybody see that?
I saw the end result of my man's arm hanging from his torso, looking very broken, and his face being absolutely destroyed. I saw that. I didn't see the actual
security,
the actual incident. Yeah.
So what basically happened, to fill you guys in, is Dave Chappelle was doing a set, and basically a guy didn't like a joke. I guess I don't know the full story, but what I heard is the guy didn't like the joke. He ran up there. He tried to spare him. Try to Roman Reigns him, but his angle was super off. And shout out to Dave Chappelle, kind of sidestepped him a bit, where the guy kind of tripped. And as soon as that happened, basically all of the security and the entourage, even Jamie Foxx in a cowboy hat sitting in the front row, jumped on stage and started chasing that guy and then beating his ass.
Now, where was that same energy when Will Smith slapped the shit out of Chris Rock?
That's exactly what I was gonna bring up. Now, a lot of people are saying, a lot of comedians are coming out and saying, that's what it comes down to.
I guess you're not allowed to be a comedian anymore. I guess people take things so seriously now. You can't even be a comedian anymore.
It doesn't make any sense.
I'd love to see these comedians.
Why do you go to a comedy show if you don't expect to hear jokes that are going to be raunchy, or inappropriate? Like, I hate when people do that. Like, you go there, oh, your joke's inappropriate. Then you shouldn't have bought a ticket. You should have bought the ballet. You should have went to the ballet then. If you didn't want.
Can you imagine doing that to somebody like George Carlin back in the day?
My God,
can you imagine that?
People weren't sensitive back in the day like that, so it's a whole.
Oh my God, you hurt my feelings. Well,
everybody's sensitive now about everything now, man.
Well,
or Richard Pryor.
I'm just saying, like,
can you imagine doing that to Richard Pryor?
It's not the first time that someone's heckled a comedian, right? I mean, even Dave Chappelle's put it on his show that his wife and him got heckled by an Asian fan, and he's like, my wife's Asian, right? So, like, I get it, but if you are going to be that uptight, don't come to the show. That's what I would say. Absolutely. Don't go to the show. I don't care who brought you there, what money you spent. If you're going to be that much of a tight ass, kick rocks. You don't need it.
Everybody's so sensitive nowadays when it comes to jokes. I mean, they're not being serious when they tell you these things. It's a joke. If you can't handle it, don't go to a comedy show, like you guys just said. You can't handle it. Have a little bit of thick skin. This is what comedians do. They're not out there to personally insult you. They're just joking around because that's the point. That's the point of entertainment and comedy, to joke. This is what comedians do. This is what they've been doing for years. This is part of stand-up comedy that was thriving in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s at times. This is what people did. Can you imagine doing this in Eddie Murphy special or Robin Williams one? We all know Robin Williams was like when he was doing stand-up.
He should have done this when he was skinny. Dave Chappelle's jacked now. I mean, now when he was skinny back doing Killing Me Softly back in 2001 and he was a twig, that's when you run the stage, right? He's not as big anymore. This is how you rush the stage. It's huge. I mean, come on, man. Like,
You know what I need to do, Adam?
Rush the stage?
Adam, you know what I need to do? I need to purify the waters of Lake Minnetonka. You should
do,
purify the waters in Lake Minnetonka.
We should. You know, I had to
go there. You know I had to go there.
You had to.
I'm tired of it too.
I'm just tired of people being so sensitive. Their asses are so itchy that they just, they get so uptight about things. Like grow a pair, man. Like, oh my God, he hurt my feelings. Like, shut up. Shut up. You don't even know the guy. Okay? You don't even know the gal. You came there and they said a few jokes. It offended you. Do they know you? Do they know you from a hole in the wall? No, you're some patron who paid a ticket. They don't know Adam from a first name. I'm just a guy in the front row laughing hysterically, right? That's all he wants or she wants. You sitting there.
No, I agree, Miz. I agree with Miz's last comment. He's got a point. And I mean,
yes.
I've heard it all. I've heard it all. I'm a Jew. I'm a Jewish person. I've heard all the horrible Jewish jokes that you can imagine. And you know what I did? I brushed it off. I acted like a man, and I know people weren't being serious. I have some friends that were Spanish. We made some jokes out of each other back in the day. Pretty insulting, pretty bad, but we never actually meant it. They're jokes. We're not actually personally trying to offend people.
Mac and I are of dark, we're dark skinned. We've seen the racist jokes. I mean, that's half of Dave Chappelle's, shtick. Am I going home crying every time I watch the Chappelle show? No, I'm laughing hysterically. Like, what? Can I get some more, please? Because I know that it's a joke. It doesn't offend me because guess what?
That's crazy. Real fast. Shout out to Kayla. She took the time out of her day to send me a link to become a writer's assistant. Like, word. I'm going to check that out. I'm actually on that page right now, Orlando, Florida. That's where it's actually born, if y'all don't know. Interesting. I'll check that out.
Well, thanks for the Indeed.
Thank you, Kayla.
Who needs Indeed when you have Kayla?
Should be. Yeah.
Who needs Indeed, huh?
Who needs Indeed when you have a headhunter in the chat?
Blue City. It's just friends doing friend stuff. They don't mean it. This was back in the day years ago. Don't worry about it.
No,
it's nothing that actually personally offended me. Yeah, I'm just kidding. It's nothing that personally offended me.
Assistant.
We've done it. Oh my God, we're even putting it on the YouTube right now. We are giving this writer's assistant airtime on our show. Hey, if you want to be a writer's assistant, all you have to do is call Premium Takes and we will get you a job. Apparently now we are the live YouTube internet, ZipRecruiter, you name it. ZipRecruiter, we should be endorsed by Indeed right now just for putting up ads about jobs.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Let's get it.
No, don't worry about it, friend. If it's between close friends that don't really mean it, it's not that big of a deal. It's not. You gotta learn to have tough skin at times and brush it off. Unless it's somebody that's like
unless you're Daniel Jones, then you get babied. You have to wear a diaper then, unless you're Daniel Jones.
Oh, we'll get into that discussion, I'm sure.
Well, let's get into it right now. If you guys want to start talking the Giants, we can talk the Giants. Go right ahead and
I love that. That's what people. That's what's called a segue in the business.
Mm-hmm.
I want to give a quick shout out to Big Pat. He just did an awesome film breakdown of the new Giants undrafted signing, Timon Fox, out of North Carolina. So I just want to give him a quick shout out. Good looking player that they signed out of North Carolina, pass rusher. Pause. I forgot to pause there. So I mean, I just want to give a quick shout out to him. Awesome film breakdown by Big Pat.
People are now adding commas while they talk.
Let's get it.
Gotta have that comma in there.
Such a comma person.
Little update on the Miami Heat versus the 76ers game. Miami Heat pulled it within 85-89 comeback season. Let's get it. Let's take this. Get it to 3-1.
Let's see if they can steal a game in Philadelphia, and the series would all but be over, just like the Liberty Bell, all but over.
Absolutely.
And quick update in the WrestleMania Backlash. We got Madcap Moss and Baron Corbin. I'm sorry, Happy Corbin, whatever the hell
Ronda Rousey won the championship if people do not know.
Yeah.
And then we get this crappy. See, this pay-per-view is funny because it goes great match, then low. Great match, then low. Great match, then low. Like, that's how it's been all night. Like, there's been, it went first, I guess, Cody Rhodes, then it went Bobby Lashley and Amos, then it went Edge and AJ Styles, then they had another match that nobody cared about, and then it was a championship women's match, and now they have these booties.
Hey, you don't care about
I actually like Madcap Moss. I like Madcap Moss. I like his gimmick, but I like his personality.
I mean, Corbin, I wouldn't say he's an all-time villain, but he's doing his job.
Let's get it. We got 11-6.
Corbin does a good job.
Put you guys predictions in the chat.
Oh, the Giants.
Predictions.
Mhm.
Predictions. I will not give a
I got a
prediction.
question for you guys. Do you think
Hey, what's
the
up,
Giants?
Awesomeness? Well,
Do you
thank
think
you
the
for being
Giants
here.
get a primetime game, a couple primetime games this year?
Yes,
Just
they always
because we are the New York Giants.
they will always
I
have
think
primetime
maybe
games, Mac. The only time they will not get primetime games is when they call themselves New Jersey. If they're still New York, they'll get primetime games. Once they call themselves the New Jersey Giants, they will be pulled from everything primetime.
I mean, for what
think
it's worth,
so.
the Giants are pretty. They've been pretty bad, and
On
usually the
primetime
bad teams, the bad teams don't usually get. They don't usually waste Monday
They
night
need a bye
games,
week.
Sunday night games
Yeah, but they need the New York
on the
market.
bad
That's what they
teams.
need, though. They need the New York
Yeah.
market still's a draw, regardless of like the Giants could be crappy. They still put
I
on
mean, like
like
last
Dallas.
year, for instance. Take last year. Last year, for instance, we had the 2 Monday night games, and they gave
Yes,
us
sir.
And a Thursday night game.
the Chiefs, and the who else played on and played on
Tampa
Monday
Bay,
night
I think.
last year.
Didn't play Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay, and the Chiefs, and those were the 2 Monday night games last year. 2 games where they pretty much. I mean, we didn't end up we got trashed by Tampa Bay, but we didn't get trashed by the Chiefs. But they probably expected us to go out there and just
Eight and
look
one. Miz wants a tie for our record.
and get embarrassed on Monday Night Football. We didn't even have a Sunday night game last year at all. On the
We have a
schedule at
Thursday
all.
night game. See,
Well,
listen.
everybody has a Thursday night. The whole league has a Thursday night game.
Well,
Every
the
team
Play
in
in
the league gets one of
London.
the
those.
thing is
Play
this:
Green Bay.
the
Play
Giants are
Green
going to
Bay in
have
London.
the Giants are going to have a primetime game regardless because they're never going to not. So they're always going to have at least one or two, right? But the Giants have been crappy. I mean, they're so crappy that the Jets and Giants both play at 1:00 last year, which means you can't even watch another team because we're both crappy. They're like, yeah, let's get you done with early so we can have the real teams come in. They're like, get off the
Absolutely.
stage. Exit stage left.
I don't
But
know.
I will say,
Muhammad Ali.
I think both teams. I think both teams after the draft they had, I think they're starting to turn the corner. Both of them had, I believe, really good drafts overall. I think the Jets actually might have had
Eagles.
the best drafts or one of them. So
We're
I
gonna tie with
think
the Eagles.
both
this game
teams are
for
going to
the one-
start
for the
turning.
one
I think they're both going to
loss.
start turning the corner, but they got to show it on the field. As much as we're excited about Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal and some of these like second, third, fourth, fifth round picks that we brought in, and the excitement level is a lot higher now because of the way that the Giants have drafted some of these undrafted players that we brought in. We still have to see it on the field. We still have to see Daniel Jones go out there and execute. We still have to see the play calling be to where we think it's going to be. We have to see We have to see Barkley, Tony, Shepard, Galladay, Robinson, all these guys stay on the field. We have to see Neal on the field, adjusting at the right tackle position, doing it in the NFL. We have to see Glowinski playing well with the Giants because we brought in a lot of free agent veterans in the past, but they've somehow never gotten it done here, except for maybe one guy, Kevin Zeitler, who's not here anymore. We know why. And then we have to see if some of these young guys, these projects that we came in, exactly, some of these projects that we brought in, like a Josh Awuzu, a Daniel Bellinger, a Dane Benton, Darian Beavers, who I love. I think this guy's going to be great at safety. Some of these like middle round guys are going to contribute it all on this roster, and even some of these undrafted guys like an Austin Allen, tight end, like Jashawn Corbin out of Florida State, the running back, or even like Chris Hinton out of Michigan. Like, got to see if some of these kids can come in there and carve a role on this team. But right now, it's all optimism that we have, but we have to see it on the field. We have to see these guys go out there and actually do it on the field. So it's optimism. Everything looks brighter right now, but it's all going to depend on how these guys get it done on the field. So I'm not putting out a record right now. The optimism is definitely better than it was before the draft, but I got to see how it is. When it closer to the season, then I'll put out a final record.
Well, what you said is key, man. I'm sorry.
Ahead, man.
You said is key is clutch, though, man. Like you said, you got to wait till these guys get on the field, till they get pads on, till they start hitting for real. Because at the end of the day, as excited as we all were last week, after the draft, we got Thibodeau, we got Evan Neal, great draft picks. They look like great draft picks. But at the end of the day, these guys, look, I've seen it happen all my life, man. Anybody can be a bust. Anybody can be. You just never know. So until they actually show and prove on an NFL field, on an NFL field, we don't know. We're still the unknown, and all we can take is what we know of this Giants team to be right as of right now. And it's a team that's been in the dumpster. for the better part of the last 10 years. So
all I have to
Hey,
say
what's
is
up,
this.
Just the Life 86? Thank you
All I
for
have to
being
say
here, my
is
friend.
this, okay? We won 4 games last year from a whopping 6 the year before, right? And then you're going to come in here and have delusions of grandeur that we're going to now all of a sudden be playoff bound. You know what the worst thing that can happen for the Giants is that they aren't in sync in the beginning of the year, right? When they need to be. And they lose the games early to these teams that are 50-50, such as like a Jaguars
After you go answer his question.
or Detroit.
I know Adam's least favorite pick was.
I think we all do. I think we all know who Adam's least favorite.
Daniel Jones. No, I'm just kidding. But the point is that I want to wait and see before I get all giddy. I'm happy. I'm excited. But we've been down this road, Mac. We've been down this road, Jeff Zion. Last year we were saying 12-5, 12-6, 12 and whatever the freaking record is now, right? And we got and the same people that told me that, well, the Giants are going to be good. They lost to Denver. And who said, watch out for Denver's defense? This guy. Because I don't overlook opponents just because their record was bad last year. That was last year. What are you going to be doing for me this year? And all the teams in the NFL get better, right? They get better on paper. Whether or not they pan out, that's on the coaching staff, that's on the players, that's on those guys. But every team has gotten better. Jacksonville has Trayvon Walker, arguably, depending on who you talk to, number 1 defensive end, and they've got Josh Allen on their team. And now I think they had Chad Muma. So now they got 3 young guys who are going to contribute. And you're going to tell me now that, okay, well, our offensive line who hasn't played together and done all this stuff is going to be up to par. You just never know. And for me, like, 4-13 stings, man. And while I want the Giants to be just as good, I can't see them. I'm capping them out at 7 wins, man. 7-10 is my max. I see 6 games on the schedule on the opponent's list right now, not the schedule because obviously the dates and times haven't come out. But I see 6 absolutely 50-50 games the Giants should be in, and I see 11 other games where maybe they aren't the favorite.
That's true,
right?
Logan. They also got Lloyd.
Right.
But Alex's question, man, he said,
He got beef versus Vince.
who was your least
we
favorite
did.
pick? He said his was Belton.
Mine was the Smurf from Kentucky, Wendell Robinson, who I like. I'm starting to like now, but I'm just to me, it's like I don't understand the redundancy of the pick because if you were going to trade Kadarius Toney, then I'd be like, all right, this makes sense. Right, you still have Kadarius Toney to do all this work. You brought in a guy who right now you think is going to be the predominant punt returner. So then, okay, great. You have 2 slot receivers. That works if you're Tom Brady and you're running that offense. They had 2 slot receivers, but not many teams run slot receivers out there every week, right? And when you have a guy like George Pickens, yes, I know he has some character issues and things like that, but a guy who has big body and a 4.4 speed, I mean, my God. I'm gonna warm up to it because I'm a Giant. I'm gonna root for him. I'm gonna see if he fails. But I've seen too many guys that have had these measurables that have not worked out. Right? I can name a few: Sonoris Moss, Jarrell Jernigan. For every Lavernius Coles, there's a Jarrell Jernigan. For every Santana Moss, there's another. There's a Tavon Austin. Right? A guy who doesn't make it in the league.
Steve Smith, there's a Sonoris Moss. For every Steve Smith, Ruben Randall, who I want to get to a little bit when I get back. When I want to break down what Ruben Randall just said recently. That you guys are gonna love this one. But
right,
go ahead,
Ruben Lazy Eye Randall.
But okay, like I don't know. I never really thought much about it. It's a good question, Alex. Thanks for bringing it up. But I don't know. I probably honestly would go with the cornerback, man. The kid Flott. No, only for the reason that he's a little light in the ass for me, man. Like,
I agree with you there, Mac.
Like I just don't know if he's going to truly be able to hold up to the physicality and to the NFL without bulking up some.
Do we play the Titans this year?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
We do play the Titans this year.
So let me ask you this, Mac. One-on-one corner comes around side, and Henry's coming around that corner. Are you trusting your chances with that kid?
No. Are you kidding me?
Are you trusting your chances with that guy coming down and making a tackle?
I'm not against Derrick Henry. Not in open space. No.
So I'm just saying, like they had other corners that they could have chose. I agree with you at that pick as well, but I'm going to let them play out because hey, they seem to have a plan for whatever they're
You
doing.
don't play
So,
Logan says
But that's what
four.
I was going to say about the Wandale Robinson pick. Why I do kind of like that pick, opposite of what you were saying about you already got Kadarius Toney. I just feel like you got a couple of guys with that kind of
Jonathan
a
Taylor
skill
coming
set. You
at you.
keep defenses off balance, man. Like that, you can hit them with so many different things. You could literally have like Robinson, Tony, Barkley, people, those guys all out there, all spread out all over the field, and they defense don't know what the hell you're gonna hit them with, man. So I kind of open to see what they really plan on doing with these guys. Also, the fact they took them in the second round. If they traded back a couple of times in the second round, and then they still ended up landing on him. So I'm assuming he was at the top of their draft board, which means they must have seen something in this kid through the process that they really, really love to invest a second round pick on, because you don't pick a guy in the second round that's supposed to come in and not be a contributor. You know what I mean? So they're expecting him to come in and contribute to this offense immediately. So I feel like
Logan, we do play the Titans, so
just like
go check your facts, Logan.
I just wanted to say, just like Logan, like Alex said earlier, just trust the process for right now, man. I just want to trust the process.
I want an Andrew Booth too.
But that's what
he wanted to pick before us.
I'm not
pick before us.
Guys, I want to say this because I think people are getting misconstrued. Just the same thing with the Daniel Jones thing. I don't hate the guys. I'm just breaking them down in a way that you see why
it is your fault, dumbass.
Maybe feel the way I feel about certain situations. And for me, while I agree a second round pick is high, I'm looking at Andrew Booth that was on the board. I'm looking at some other guys that like if I'm telling you right now, if that guy Sky Moore goes to Kansas City and balls out, and our guy Wendell Robinson is getting a few carries a game, doing a couple end arounds here and there, right? Because we got him at this gadget player, and and he pulls a hamstring or he doesn't play, we're gonna look back and say, man, we had a chance to get that guy, right? And to me, I'm just saying, I'm gonna trust you guys, Mac. I'm on your ship. I'm wearing a life jacket though. I'm telling you that right now. I'm gonna get on your Wendell Robinson boat, but I'm the dude who's over safety, right? Like, I'm gonna take caution with this guy because if he doesn't pan out, because remember, Buffalo was built differently than the Giants. They had more established quarterback. They brought in veteran guys like Beasley and Diggs. Okay. Right, Diggs is totally different than Beasley, and Isaiah McKenzie is essentially what this guy reminds me of. So you're bringing in a guy who kind of is Beasley, kind of is McKenzie, and you already had that guy in Tony, and now you have to give the ball to Barkley, Galladay, Shepard, right, the tight end, and now these two guys. It just makes me kind of like wonder where we're going here.
Here's my other feeling about it. Also, is with improved offensive line play, we should have much more improved Saquon Barkley play as well, which is just going to just totally open up a whole different can of worms for all the receivers and everything. Because if you're picking your poison, you try to load the box up on Saquon Barkley, then we got receivers that can just get all over, get you out in the open field all over the place, man, running around in open space. So I think we got to wait and see. I'm just visualizing what I think kind of the plan could be, partially with the plan. But none of us never actually going to know until we see the product on the field at the end of the day.
I think what's going to happen.
Also going to depend. It's also going to depend on what Daniel Jones you get, man. It's totally going to depend on that as well.
We appreciate that, Levance. Thank you so much.
I think what's going to happen with Wandale, I think it's going to be the same type of process they're going to do with him, what they wanted to do with Tony last year, because I think they initially wanted him to get used to the offense at the beginning, so they wanted to start, Galladay, Shepard, and Slayton, but when everybody started going down with injuries, they had no choice but to force Tony in there a little bit earlier instead of letting him learn the playbook a little bit more. So I think at the beginning of the season, if Shepard's good to go, if Slayton's still here, if Galladay's healthy, if Tony's healthy, they're going to probably just ease Robinson into the playbook as the season goes on, but they'll start initially with the top 3 guys. But as the season goes on, I expect Robinson to be a much bigger part of this offense going forward.
I can't agree with you there because if you're pushing that guy as a second round pick down the depth chart like that, then you don't need to draft a guy in the second round.
And with Tony, it's like, yo, you're a first round pick. But get your ass on the field week 1.
Right. So my
all of them, all these guys.
But my point is that I'm not drafting a guy, Wendell Robinson, in the second round to hope he makes it up the depth chart. I'm drafting Wendell Robinson because out the gate, I think he's going to be one of my top 3. Right,
second round pick is expected to come in and be an immediate contributor.
Right, you can't just.
Well, the one thing I like about Brian Dable is that he does like to rotate his receivers in and out of the lineup a lot. He likes to use like receivers for different types of schemes and different types of sets. So I can see that with like certain plays he could throw out Robinson, Galladay, and Tony. Maybe another set he puts out Slayton, Shepard, and Tony. Like maybe Galladay, Shepard.
That's going to come.
I think he's going to dress like 5 or 6. I think he's going to dress 5 or 6. And
you got 4 that you know are making it. You got 4 that are locks to make the team. You got 4 that are absolute locks to make the team already. You know what I mean? Galladay, Shepard, Robinson, and Tony. That's guaranteed. Those are, as far as I'm concerned, those are guaranteed roster spots, barring some kind of weird disaster.
Real fast, I want to put this conversation on hold. I want to answer Namir's question. We talked about this early on one of my shows this past week. Ryan Tannehill is going through a lot of mental issues with his personal life. I read an article how he was suffering from bad depression after a playoff loss, and he had to go to therapy. So when you get asked questions from the media grabs it, right, and we all know they blow it out of proportions. He was asked a question, and it was fast, and he just said his job and to teach him, and he's exactly right. It's the same thing that Brett said to Rodgers. It's the same thing that Ben said to Rudolph. It is not his job, and he's there to obviously. Tannehill seems like a legit guy. He seems like a nice guy from the outside, and guaranteed if he has questions, if Willis has questions, Ryan Tannehill will be there to answer it. But no, I absolutely agree with Tannehill on his point. It's not his job. He's still trying to figure out his mental and his personal life. So. Now, I just think it's the media blowing out of proportions. But if you guys want to give your thoughts on that.
Media blows everything out of proportion.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan
That's their jobs.
Plays quarterback for the Tennessee Titans.
Isn't he the starter, man?
He is not the obligated mentor for Malik Willis just because they drafted Malik Willis. Sure, would it be cool? Yeah. Would it be nice? Took him under his wing a little bit. It would be nice, but don't make it feel like seeing the man. Make it sound the man has to be obligated.
Point him in the negative.
Not to mention Ryan Tannehill is a guy that's he's still not an ancient old man. He still got some years left. He's trying to still be the best Ryan Tannehill he can be. He's working on his own game, worrying about his own game, what he has to do. He's not trying to teach Coach Malik Willis up to be better to take his spot. You know what I mean? Like that's to me.
Quarterback wants to do that.
Once again, the media. It's just once again spinning their own narrative and trying to make a story where there is no real story. Ryan Tannehill, if you want to help the kid, help the kid. If you don't, you're not obligated to. That's what the coaches are there for. And not to mention for what it's worth, I'm sure he has other access to many other people in the league if he wants to get mentored by anybody. You know what I mean? So use his own. He can use his own resources and find the mentorship that he may or may not need. So. Ryan Tannehill is definitely not on the hook, like I said, like you already mentioned. Aaron Rodgers damn sure didn't mentor. Aaron Rodgers. Brett Favre didn't mentor Aaron Rodgers as Aaron Rodgers turned out perfectly fine. A few MVPs later, what the hell?
Super Bowl.
He didn't get no Brett Favre mentorship when he came in there. Brett Favre basically shut that shit down from the door. Like, nah, I'm not here to do that.
Listen. Let me ask you. Let me ask the audience this: if somebody's coming in to take your job and they're like, "Yeah, you want to keep the seat warm for this guy?" No, you're gonna be like, "Dude, I'm not gonna set my game up because not only am I Ryan Tannehill, I have a bad reputation around the league. I haven't won playoff games, and now you're bringing in a guy here who's going to replace me? Absolutely not. I'm going to make that kid earn every bit of this job. He's not going to get any secrets from me. I'm not going to buy him a pizza. Exactly. I'm going to make,
not even a pizza.
Hey, I need to lend me some money for gas. Walk your ass to the stadium. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not helping you out at all because any little thing that I give you, is advantage. Now, if he was 38 years old on his way out and he, wasn't going to be, have a career, then like Eli Manning doing with Daniel Jones, right? That's more of a mentorship. Now, do you think I want Eli Manning sitting there, holding this kid's hand? No, because guess what? Now the game plan is hindered because Ryan didn't get his work done that he needed to get to because he was too busy helping Malik Willis understand the language of the playbook. So now you're trying to hinder me? No, you know what you do? You get a Davis Webb, you get a backup quarterback or a quarterback in your system or a quarterback's coach or an intern, and you have that guy follow Malik Willis around, okay? This is the NFL team, okay? These guys don't have time to coddle players. They either earn the job or they don't, because if they do, guess what? They're fired, okay? Same thing with like the only team right now, if you want to do it right, like the Giants right now, since we're talking about them, right? They have 3 years to get this shit right. Tennessee don't have 3 years. Okay, they are in the playoffs. They were the number 1 seed last year, right? They need to win. Now, if they win and ride off into the sunset, and Ryan Tannehill's like, I'm going to retire, or I'm going to, my contract's up, I'm going to see if I can go win somewhere else. Fine, then you have Malik Willis there. But everyone's getting all butthurt these days about every little thing. Guy misses practice. Oh my God, he's missing everything. The guy tells him that a 3rd round pick coming in trying to take that guy's job. He's supposed to be a mentor. Kiss my behind. Okay. Charles Barkley said it best. Don't think of me as a role model. A role model is for a parent. When he was in the 92 Dream Team and they asked him about being a role model, right? These guys aren't here to be like, hey, I'm a stand-up guy. I'm going to teach you, Malik, to take my job. Here we go. No.
Another good point, Alex, in the chat, man. Another good point, bro.
Exactly.
Kurt
Warner, well said.
Kurt Warner didn't want no parts of that.
Right. And he left. He left. And neither did Kerry Collins. That's why Kerry Collins left before Kurt Warner. Kerry Collins is like, you're going to draft a quarterback? I want to go start somewhere. And he ended up in Oakland.
Yep. And I want to just bring up a nice little point about our good friend, Mr. Ruben Randall. You guys all remember Ruben Randall, the New York Giants second-round pick out of 2012. Yeah, Ruben Randall went on a little bit of a Twitter tirade last night, complaining to all the Giants fans that have been talking about him and how bad he was. That the New York Giants offense hasn't been good since 2015 when he was part of that offense, and the reason why their offense still hasn't been that good is because he's not part of it. Well, guess what, Ruben Randall?
That is not
as much as you were. You had a couple. I'll give the guy credit. He had a couple of pretty good seasons. I remember in 2014, he actually almost had, crazy as can be, he had over 70 catches and just under 1,000 yards. I'll give him credit for that. In 2015, during the Giants' last good year when they were actually one of the best offenses in the league, Ruben Randall, he had over 50 catches. He had almost 800 yards receiving, and he had 8 touchdowns. But we all know what was wrong with good old Ruben Randall. He had the head of a block. He couldn't run his routes correctly. He was mistiming all over the place. He had no idea what the hell he was doing half the time on the field. He had drops issues. And, oh, by the way, Ruben, you had Odell Beckham Jr. out there who was commanding triple teams the entire time to give you, and a guy like Preston Parker out there that was giving you opportunities one-on-one. But it's just the fact of the matter is that 2015, the Giants had a top offense with Preston Parker and Ruben Randall as their number 2 and number 3 receivers because a lot had to do with Eli Manning excelling with the Ben McAdoo offense, and also the fact that they had Odell Beckham Jr., who was virtually uncoverable those first couple of years, and they had to triple team him to really take him out of the offense, giving one-on-one opportunities for Ruben Randall to be able to make plays. So, Mr. Randall, I get where you're coming from. You are right. The offense was not as good. I'll just finish my point real quickly. The offense has not been good since 2015. But let's be honest, Ruben, it wasn't because of you. There were a couple of other players on that offense that made them much better. So pipe down, Ruben, because you haven't done jack since you left the Giants.
Let me ask you this.
A couple of big games against the Eagles, I wouldn't even remember Ruben Randall.
Let me ask you this. Does Ruben Randall live in New Jersey?
Send it to Ruben Randall on Twitter.
Does Ruben Randall live in New Jersey? Because I think he was smoking that legalized weed when he was saying this stuff. because Ruben Randall is a dunce. Okay, like I don't. It pains me to talk about Ruben Randall because he's just so dumb. Okay, and like because the guy
the most
is not
infuriating player the Giants have ever drafted.
I'm not even. I mean, he drafted
Talent
himself
like
around.
crazy.
He was oozing, dripping with talent, but he was just dumb. He just so many interceptions. Eli is like looking at him with his hands up, like, "What are you doing? Like, what are you doing?" We
You
went
want to
over
talk
this.
about Evan Ingram?
We went over this
we were
yesterday.
bitching, complaining about
And
Evan
he had, like,
Ingram. Ruben
he had
Randall
so much-
was the king of these types of plays.
Yep. And he had so much chances.
I'm
Like they
sorry.
kept on trying to get him open.
Oh.
They kept on trying to give him the ball. Like he had so much.
The Ruben
chances.
Randall touchdown / interception, where in the Redskin game, he caught a ball in the end zone, and then it got popped out of his hands and up into the receiver's hand for an interception. They called it a touchdown at first on the field, and then they said, no, it's not a touchdown. And, that's the type of stuff that only would happen to a guy like Ruben Randall. Right, Ruben Randall's just trying to get some airtime. He's just mad because he was the forgotten receiver at LSU. People forget that he played also with Odell and a lot of those LSU guys coming out, right? So but he was dripping with talent. I didn't have a problem with him at first. His rookie year, he was pretty solid, but it was towards the end when you weren't running them on post routes, you're running them on comebacks and things like that, where he was just like, huh? He had that like droopy eye look. Where you're like, are you really looking at me or are you not looking at me? Like, I can't really tell. Like, are you paying attention? Am I talking or are you talking? Like, that's the type of guy he looked like. You know what I mean? He was dumb. Trust me. And you know who was dumb too? Mario Manningham was dumb.
Oh, yeah, he was. Yeah, I'm telling you, it must be that number 82 jersey because Roger Lewis Jr. also wore that jersey, and he was not exactly the smartest receiver either. I said it was the curse of the 82 jersey for those few years because whoever was wearing that jersey, there was just something not processing with their heads, with the routes they were running, the drops they were making, the turnovers they were creating. I don't know what it was, but that 82 jersey on the Giants that those receivers were wearing, just something was not clicking because it was happening for at least 5-6 years in a row that whoever had that jersey on, just mistakes were happening, wrong routes, pissing off the quarterback. It was just infuriating to watch. Go ahead, Adam.
See, I'll give you a funny story. Okay, I worked at the Giants back in the day. I won't give you the actual date, but I will give you a fun story. We're at training camp, and we're miking up a player. The player happens to be Mario Manningham. And they tell you in production you have to count down from 10 to the person in the camera so they can hear your mic going off, right? 10, 9, 8, 7, and so on. So Mario Manningham's doing a countdown, and he forgets a number. So he's like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 2, 1. We're like, what? Did he just say? Did he just skip a number? And we're all sitting there dying. And my boss is looking at me like, don't say anything. Just let it go. Because we're about to crack up. Like, yo, this guy just clearly missed a number from counting down from 10. And I was just like, I'm sitting there thinking like, yo, did this guy not have basic math in college? Like, it was just funny.
University of Michigan education.
The University of Michigan did. I mean, I guess he had some oral quizzes and tests throughout his college career, man. But it was just funny, a little fun story I wanted to share. That players are kind of.
How many times did we watch Mario Manningham run a route on the outside, and he was always dripped out of bounds all the time? Whenever he'd run a go route, he'd always seem to like tail out of bounds instead of trying to tiptoe on the sideline. That was the Mario Manningham route where he'd always dripped off to the sideline and not get his feet in. No, he's had some great.
I can't throw the same shade at Mario Manningham that I throw at Ruben Randall because Mario Manningham.
No. There's no comparison.
He made one of the most iconic catches in New York Giant history.
Two of them, Mac.
Kayla, I understand if you can't go from Z to A backwards, right? You can't do the alphabet backwards. But if you can't count down from 10, my 4-year-old son can count down from 10. Okay, so. I'm sorry. I don't want to be a little rude, but come on. The guy should be able to count from 10 down.
Kayla, you can count from 10 down, girl. You ain't crazy. I've had enough conversation with you to know that you can count from 10.
No, Mac, I agree with what you said before. You can't put Mario Manningham and Ruben Randall in the same sentence because Mario Manningham had a couple of the most.
I agree. I was just sharing a funny
with the catch he had against San Francisco. The big catch he had in San Francisco that pretty much helped win that game. and also obviously the sideline catch, the famous one, which also was Eli Manning's beautiful throw, maybe the greatest throw in Super Bowl history. But yeah,
That was his best
Manning
throw.
had a lot of those airhead moments, but Ruben Randle, I mean, you want to talk about wasted talent? Don't go any further than Ruben Randle, because this kid had a lot of talent, and him and Beckham could have been our receiving duo for years. And Ruben Randle just had nothing. He had nothing in the head.
What pissed me off about him was he
blank.
had all the he had the physical tools. Like he
Right.
had the
He was
physical
good.
tools. He was a big receiver. He wasn't like somebody. He was a big,
The kids call it drip.
Yeah, big body receiver, big, tall, and it was
Speed.
just like you're not using your attributes, bro. Like I don't get it. You letting these little
because he didn't have it in the head, Mac.
Yeah, but the
He
funniest
had it in
part
the head.
is the funniest part though is like he had some success. So it's like it's not like he didn't, completely bust like Jarrell Jernigan, who had one catch and like John Mara's like,
Or
why didn't we use this?
Moss, yeah.
Why didn't we use this guy more? Right? This is Ruben Randle, right? Yeah, Mac knows what I'm talking about. Mac heard that story, right? Oh man, can't get much past Mac. That's why I love hanging with Mac, man. He gets my jokes. That's why we do NFC East Roundup on Wednesdays during the season. But no, what I'm saying is like I'm just tired of brings me back to the point of the draft picks now. We don't know who's going to bust. We don't know who's going to have a Ruben Randle moment. Yeah. We don't know the moment's going to be too big for them. We love Kayvon Thibodeau right now, but can he live up to his brand name already? I mean, is Evan Neal going to have a mental breakdown? They are human beings. It's not like Madden. We tend to forget that these are humans, right? So we think they're robots because, we see them every day. They're
aliens, Adam.
Right. Yeah, whatever.
What's going on, Philly B?
But my point is that I just can't stand that we already assume a guy's career is going to be bad or good because of where he's drafted or because of the highlights or how the media looks at him, right? So, like Ruben Randle saying all this stuff, like, go check your facts, bro. Go study your lowlights on YouTube. Go. You had your swan song. No one's gonna remember Ruben Randle in 10 years. They're gonna be like, who?
No.
A lot of people actually were saying that when they posted the comment on Bleacher Report on the Giants section. A lot of the fans were like, who? Like they forgot all about this dude, and he's only been retired or off the Giants for what, 5-6 years? That's how much they forget about a guy like Ruben Randle because of how he actually had a couple of good seasons. And that's how relevant
the
he was.
Eagles. They couldn't even make their roster, and they had no receivers.
They had me running out there,
and they couldn't even make their roster.
They had me running out there.
I mean, Steve Smith did the same thing, but at least Steve Smith was coming off a serious patella injury, so that's probably why his career. He crashed and burned because he got hurt. Because I think if he stayed healthy, Giants would have probably tried to keep him.
Who was this?
76ers won the game 116 to 108.
Steve Smith.
Oh.
Steve Smith. Steve Smith. If you want to talk about a second round pick, if you want to talk about a second round pick that was really, really good and had another one of those guys that had an unfortunate injury that ruined their careers, Steve Smith. That guy was awesome. Maybe the best. One of the best route runners I've ever seen in the Giants draft. This guy was a route running technician.
Go watch some of his highlights. Big Blue VCR does a great job.
Unbelievable how good of route running this guy does. He still leads the team in receptions. He still was the first guy the Giants have ever had as a Pro Bowl receiver. Amazing 2009 season. Was off to another strong start in 2010, but he partially tore his pec muscle, and then he tore his patella tendon.
He was the first Pro Bowl receiver Giants had since like the 70s or something like that.
I think it's Homer Jones, I believe.
And he had 109 receptions, broke a receiving record. He's good, man. Watch Big Blue VCR on Twitter. He's a great guy. He does Giant content. He does happy birthday to old players, shows highlights. And he had a highlight of Steve Smith up there. And he did an okey doke to a cornerback. The cornerback bit so hard that he was so wide open.
It was the Dallas game, yeah.
It was just like,
that guy was. You want to talk about route running? If you want to watch a receiver, if you're a young receiver and you want to come into the NFL and watch a veteran learn how to run like a route running technician, go no further than watching Steve Smith and the Giants, because that guy was an incredible – that's how he was so good. With not exactly the best speed, separation, or anything, he got open all the time because he was a phenomenal route runner. this guy would just get open with his incredible route running. And it's just a shame that his career ended so
And he had
shortly because
reliable
of the fact
hands.
he got hurt so much. He was great. This
He
guy
had
was
reliable hands.
incredible. Let's see what he did in the Super Bowl for 2007. He had before the Burris touchdown. Steve Smith had the biggest catch when he
Number
caught that
12.
third down and 12, and he didn't go out of bounds, and he still managed to get that first down, which the next play set up the Plexico Burris touchdown.
That was
Steve
the best
Smith
draft class
had the
that
biggest.
they've ever had.
Yeah,
Yep,
Steve Smith had the
absolutely.
biggest catch in
Every
the
one
Super
of those
Bowl
draft
that year.
picks, every one of those draft picks contributed that season to that football
Yep.
team. Every single one.
Jerry Reese deserves a lot of credit for that.
That was a gem of a draft. Like, yes, they brought in guys, and everything was gelling together, the team. But when they brought in Aaron Ross, he changed the dynamic because they finally had another corner outside of Sam Madison and Webster, right? And then they brought in Steve Smith in that year. They had Kevin Boss that year. They had
Jay Alford.
Jay Alford that
on
year.
Tom Brady late in the game.
They had
Zach
Aaron.
Diossi.
They had Bradshaw in that draft as well. Guys who.
The long snapper Zach Diossi was in that draft.
Yes,
as well.
yes, he was. I remember Jerry Reese was like, "Yeah, he's going to play linebacker." We're like, no, he's not. Like, no, he's not. Nobody from Browns ever played linebacker in the NFL. Get out of here, So, but I know Miz is salivating over Kayvon Thibodeau, and I love the guy too. I'm excited, very excited player for him. But before we, put him in Canton, Ohio, let's see how we get through a season first. I think
we should temper the excitement and then wait until they get on the field. For real, honestly, just wait, temper the excitement, wait till they get on the field. Remember last year? Think back to last year, how we all were all hyped up, and Giant Nation all over was all hyped up. Knew it was going to be a great season, and it was a major letdown. Just kind of just temper them expectations, man, and just hope for this team to be competitive again. That's what we're looking for. Looking for this team to at least start being competitive again. Got to crawl before you walk.
Let's see who remains healthy. Remember, this is a violent sport, not a physical sport. It's a violent sport. People tend to get the two mixed up. And what that means is people are going to hit each other come practice. There's going to be dings, nicks, pulled hamstrings, things like that. Let's see who we field when we play these teams, right? Because everybody loves on paper how good we look. But if you look at the roster beyond some of these stars, we got nobodies. And if somebody goes down, you're going to see, an undrafted free agent, a one-year player that's going to come in here and experienced quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers or any of those other big names that we play on the schedule are going to take advantage of that, right? So this is what we need to temper. I'm tired of you people telling me the Giants have the fourth easiest schedule. I don't give a damn if they had the first easiest schedule. That's a load of bullshit because you know why? I'll tell you why. They play the games on Sunday. That's why. This is not Madden or Alcorn State or Appalachian State where you can just mark off a victory. We do that every year. We have these schedule shows and who's going to win and blah, 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 12-5. And then what happens, right? Guy blows out his knee. Guy gets injured. Whole team is wrecked.
He's right now. None of us sitting here right now. Now, none of us know how good Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be. None of us know how good Houston Texans are going to be. None of us know that. I mean, we think those teams are going to be bad, but hey, they might not be.
But Mac, were we good last year? So why would we even think about being better than another team when we weren't even good last year?
We weren't better than anybody.
Adam, you made a great point before about the health. We're trying to rely on a lot of our offensive playmakers, especially that are very injury prone. I mean, look at the guys we have on this roster that we're trying to rely on. Kadarius Toney couldn't even stay healthy. Had suffered for how many injuries did Toney have all season? Galladay, he got hurt a whole bunch of times. Shepard coming off an Achilles tear. Barkley, he's been banged up all the time. Daniel Jones has been missing games. Even Andrew Thomas, who's been great at left tackle, he's had ankle surgery on the same ankle twice. So we're putting a lot of faith in a lot of guys.
Costas the game against Kansas City.
You're putting faith in a lot of guys that could have to try to stay healthy for this offense to be good, and it's really taking a big risk because a lot of these guys have proven over the years they can't stay on the field consistently. So, I mean, you hope it's going to be a difference, but you just don't know. People get hurt, like you mentioned.
I will say this. Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal, of all the draft picks, have the best floor, meaning they're going to be good players. I can pretty much put my money on them being good players. What I can't put my money on is them being dominant. I can know that they can be good right out the gate. They're going to be good. They're going to make mistakes because they got to learn the NFL game. But these players are going to be cornerstone players. What I'm talking about is them and beyond, right? The third round pick, we don't know how good he's going to be. We don't. These guys are the bust rate goes higher and higher with every draft pick that goes away from the first round, right? So you got the 2 top 10 picks, which usually are bona fide studs. And I agree with Miz. This guy is going to open up a lot of stuff for other players. But let's let him get in the system. Let's let him learn. Let's let him grow. Like Max said, crawl before you walk. Because we like to put the cart before the horse with a lot of these guys. Right? We're like, oh, yeah, this guy's going to be a Hall of Famer. And he goes on to do nothing. He goes on to be Ruben Randall. Right? He goes on to be a bum or a jackwagon. Right? Because second round pick, Ruben Randall was a second round pick. You judging by the way we talked about him, he should have been a 5th or 6th round pick. But he's not. So my point is like these are the things like we don't see. We're all loving Joe Shane right now. But if these back end players don't come through, we're going to be like, what the hell? And that's how you build your roster. The Kayvon Thibodeaus of the world, those are fine and dandy. Devin Neals, but it's the rest of the guys that are on the team. And not for nothing, if you look at it, we have John Feliciano for 1 year, Max Garcia for 1 year, a lot of guys throughout the roster on 1 year. There's going to be a lot of rebuilding. So I want to build a foundation right now, not worry about being 8-1 or anything like that. Be competitive, build a football team, make your mistakes now so that next year or towards the end of the year, we're humming and headed in the right direction.
And that's what it's all about, building the foundation. That's what this year right now should be mainly about, is trying to build a foundation, get some young players to build upon, just set on the right course, because that's something that the Giants have lost their way in a lot of years, is developing their draft picks, set his course on the right course, building a foundation, continuity, that kind of stuff. That's what this team needs to do this year. And expectations, there's a lot of fans, like you mentioned, Adam, that are excited because of the draft that we just had, and the players brought in. No, I'm saying you can be excited as you want. There are a lot of fans. You're allowed to be excited if you think this team is going to be better than you think. But at the same time, like, you have to, with the way this organization has been for the past 10 years, you have to understand those fans that aren't going to be like, raving the pom-poms, be like, all right, we just got a new regime. Look what they did in Buffalo. They're going to bring it over here in New York, and we're automatically going to become a great team in 2022. We're going 11-6. We're going to the playoffs, stuff like that. You got to, it's all right to temper the expectations too and think, this is still a rebuilding team and it's going to be a process, because most teams, they don't get good after their first year. Buffalo, when they brought in that new regime, they didn't get good after their first year. It took them a few years until they finally became the team they are right now. So it's going to take a little bit of a time. You got to see how these players develop.
It's funny how Miz said something. He goes, I know my shit. I know a special type of player that are animals. These two are animals. But yet in the same breath, he also says, I don't know what you're getting out of Wandell. So if you know players and you're telling me that these guys are going to be good, you should know what Wandell is going to be. My point is this. Just telling me that Evan Neal and Kayvon Thibodeaux are going to be good, that's easy pickings. Anybody can tell you that. Right? That's easy. That's not finding me a gem. Find me a gem in the end rounds. Right? Tell me Darian Beavers is going to be good. Do I like Darian Beavers? Yeah, I like what he brings. Do I know if he's going to be good? No, I have no idea. Right? And if anyone tells you otherwise, they have no idea either. Because players aren't as easy as it thinks. You put a player out there and you don't know what his mental capability is going to be. You don't know if he's going to be, be mad that someone stole his girlfriend, or, the girl at the club didn't call him back last night, or, he got into a bar fight the night before. Like, you have no idea what's going to affect him, or, he lost somebody, he might lose his job. People are people. They react different ways, man. I mean, look at Paul Gasol, man. Paul Gasol had a lot of infighting with the Lakers, and it showed up on the field. Showed up on the court every year. Every time he played, he didn't play big because he was too busy worried about, my girlfriend who cheated on me. Yeah, great job. We have to win a game here. Go talk to whoever after the game about that. You know what I mean? Can they separate that? We'll see.
And one more thing on that real quick, Miz, with all due respect, man. Look, I believe these guys are going to be special players too. I believe they got really good tape out there in college. But this is still the NFL, man. And I grew up in an era where I got to see Mr. Tony Mandrich. I'm taking it all the way back there on all the Sports Illustrated covers and all the this, that. He was going to be the best thing since sliced bread. And this kid came in there and was one of the biggest all-time busts in NFL history, man. So it can happen. to the best of them, man.
Right.
And until they prove it on the field in the NFL, I'm not saying it's not cool to be excited, but we got to temper the expectations.
You're not
and
listening,
wait
Miz. You
and
don't
see.
listen. You're not listening.
Gotta wait and see.
Nobody
That's
cares
all.
about his girlfriend, bro. I understand that. You're not understanding what I'm saying because you're too busy worried about answering and not listening. That's what happens to people. The thing is, what I'm saying is distractions happen. We don't know what the mental capacity is going to be if things go wrong, right? Tibbs is going to be a good player, right? That's why I just said that. He's going to be good. I don't know if he's going to be great yet. I have no idea. I want him to be great. I hope he's going to be great. But, that's what I'm saying. But then, in the same breath, like I said, you don't know what Wendell Robinson's going to be. Then there's one thing to like a player and be intrigued by his skill set, But, I'm not saying the guy's going to be great. All I'm saying is I know what you guys mean. I have all the high expectations for my team this year, and I'm excited. But until they hit the field, I can't speculate. Exactly.
Yeah. By the way, just a quick update. This six-man tag match has been awesome. Just want to throw that in. This six-man tag match is living up to expectations. It's been really awesome so far. Go ahead, guys.
Over?
No. I'm just saying. It's just the match has been living up to expectations. 1, 2. Yep.
Does he do it? Do it? Yeah, he does.
Yeah, Roman Reigns just pinned Riddle to end the match.
Oh, he scares him.
Really?
Of course.
They're never gonna let this team lose.
Of course. Why not? Roman Reigns get the pin and
I figured that
he pinned a weaker guy though.
Yeah, he pinned Riddle. Riddle's the guy that was probably going to get pinned, or it was going to be one of the Usos by Drew.
He pinned a weaker opponent in my eyes.
Absolutely. I hate to cut it short, guys, but I have to get going here. And I know you guys, some of us works in the morning. So that being said, guys, let's go around and let's plug our channels and get out of here. And thank you so much for the chat. Always keeping us entertained with your guys' comments. We appreciate all you guys being here tonight on Mother's Day, and hopefully all your mothers had an amazing day. Go right ahead, Jeff. Plug your channel.
If you guys want to check out my content, just head over to NYG Jeffy T 3285, where I give out breaking news and updates on the New York Giants, the Brooklyn Nets, the New York Mets, and some WWE news. So if you haven't already, subscribe up to my channel. Thank you very much for having me on for the show tonight. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
I'll go. First off, Miz, we won't revisit in 3 years because we already know those guys are going to be good. So, we're arguing about the same point. So keep it moving. The second thing is that we have the Hurry Up is my channel. If you like sport content, I just talk about anything football, mostly the Giants, but anything football and sports related. I also do Premium Takes podcast with these guys, these wonderful hosts that I'm with. So please keep listening to us, follow us. We love talking to you guys. We love having all this great content. And we also me and Mac do the NFC Roundup, where we're going to get into the nitty gritty of the NFC East. Anything you want to know, anything you want to hear, it's going to be on that show. Don't go anywhere. Lock in your YouTube channels. Set your dial. That's throwing me back. That shows you how old I am. Set your schedule time on YouTube, because that's coming to you every Wednesday during the season, but we have a couple off-season episodes coming out here. So that's all from me. Mac, take it away.
Well, yeah, this is me, Mac, the Giants fan. Everybody, thanks for tuning in.
What up?
Catch me here on the Premium Takes. You know what I mean? Every Sunday with these three gentlemen up in here, and like Adam just said, the Real Deal NFC's Roundup is back. Got some off-season editions coming. We just did our premiere episode last Wednesday night on Star Wars Day. Check it out if you haven't. Got a super dope intro. If nothing else, go look at it just for that, because it was pretty damn cool. My boy Philly B. That was just in the chat a minute ago. And just check me out. Catch me every Wednesday. Not every Wednesday yet. We're not doing it every Wednesday quite yet. We're gonna have some scattered all. We doing a show this Thursday for the schedule release. NFC's Real Deal NFC's Roundup. That'll be this Thursday. It's only special time on Thursday because that's when they're releasing the schedule. And then we'll be back on some Wednesday shows throughout the off season. And then once the regular season kick in, you're gonna find me and Adam every Wednesday evening, breaking down the entire NFC East each and every single week, breaking it all the way down. So Yeah,
the
definitely
nitty-gritty.
join us, man. We got all that coming up, man, for y'all. So check us out, man.
Go right ahead,
Like
Logan. Where
and
can these people
subscribe.
find you? Yes, sir.
So to my channel, LGZ Productions, Giants, Knicks, content, highlight videos. Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Anytime, bro. And yeah,
Anytime,
you
man.
guys know where to find me. I'm having a schedule. I'm gonna recap the schedule. I'm trying to look at some cool video I can edit to. I'm trying to play with OBS to make you guys a fun, entertaining video. That being said, you can find us on Premium Takes on Sunday, and I'm doing Lock It In with the boys, Next Generation, Logan and the gang. We're doing that on Friday on my channel, so make sure you guys go check out Lock It In. It's just basically the Giant Zone podcast. We did 30 episodes last season. We started it back up last week on Logan's channel, and then we're doing it on my channel. You can catch me, Logan, CJ, and Champ breaking down the latest things in sports and everything else that goes there. That being said, thank you guys so much for joining tonight, and you guys all have an amazing evening. Peace out.
Peace.
Peace.